one more mom story, but
Yeah,
like
please.
in like going back to like Hillary Clinton in like I don't know, like 95 or something. It's like kind of famous. Hillary Clinton was like she was like kind of a feminist. Looking back, she was like kind of the white feminist that right now we're sort of like, that's not quite what we need. But she like had this famous quote that was like, oh sure, I guess I could have like stayed home and baked cookies. And my mom like kind of held a grudge against her for that for like the rest of her life. Where she was like, I'm a feminist, but like feminism is about like women having choices, and like I'm staying home to like raise my children, and like Hillary Clinton doesn't get that.
Um, Hillary Clinton is extremely problematic in so many senses.
Yeah, I mean, not like big like saying shit like giving moms who bake cookies shit is like the least of Hillary Clinton's problems, but
Well, let's unpack that a little bit. For example, now your mom took offense because she made that decision to focus on her children and um, to contribute her work to this country and raising her kids, right?
yeah,
Um, and so Hillary Clinton kind of demeaned that kind of work with that quote. In the cultural sense, though, I mean, back then it sounded like if we're to if someone were to say that now, we were to dissect it, would be like, oh, this is total virtue signaling to like upper class white people who can, hire not just babysitters but maybe nannies, and who can send their kids like away to school to some of these elite institutions where they don't need to worry about the day-to-day care of their own children. Um, and it ends up if that were to be said now, it would end up alienating Republicans for sure. And now
yeah,
this is the tough part. This is the tough part because um, when it's gonna piss off like a large swath of white people, and those white people also happen to be Republicans, people that we still need to fight economic justice for, like I think that's a tough thing for a lot of Democrats to reconcile. But if you stay focused on intersectionality, that okay, it's about feminism, but it's also about poverty. It's also
mm-hmm.
about race. It's also about like economic justice. All these things. Um, you just won't end up saying shit like that. And so I
Yeah.
think that's why Hillary Clinton has such a problem, or is such a problem culturally for so many people in this country. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this. I think Hillary Clinton, um, her sort of worldview and experience is like very privileged. Um, I think that like when she was running, there were parts of her like career that got kind of overlooked that were actually really pretty impressive. I'm gonna screw this up, but that she was like worked in like the DA's office in Arkansas or something like that. Like,
No,
um,
go on. It's good that people hear the good and the bad.
yeah,
I by
and
no
she,
means, yeah.
yeah, that she like was aware of this, but then, you know, the part that she kind of chose to market was this like very like I don't know, like this white woman in pantsuits, who's
Yeah.
educated at elite institutions, and she's like neoliberal. That kind of like her like I said, like kind of her end goal is that like white women like can be seen as the equal of white men. And I think she kind of even that, like, I mean, I think a lot of the anger at her was because she was a woman, and I don't want to like discount that.
Yes.
But then there were also definitely people who wanted to sweep under the rug, like she's a woman, like the optics of having having a black president and then a female president would be amazing, and kind of overlook, drone strikes in the Middle East and their stance on Palestine and their sort of blind eye to, I don't know, the war on drugs or like the war on poverty and how that affected like poor people and Black people, and that they're kind of left out of like the politics of this country. And I think she was pretty oblivious to that.
And also on the international front, just to add to it, I am convinced had she won 2016, we would have invaded Syria, and that would have been a mess. I mean, she was giving every indication that that's what she wanted. She wanted to oust Bashar al-Assad from Syria. But back to even just her cultural, the way that she would position herself culturally, you're so right. You said something about how it was more important for her to kind of stand on the, like, with white men, even as a senator. And she was, let's not forget, she was immensely popular as a New York senator. Yeah. And she was actually quite popular as Secretary of State under Obama. All right. A lot of her unpopularity came from when she was running in 2016 and the way that the media painted her out to be. Yeah. But even as a senator, what was she trying to do? And when she ran for president the first time, she wanted to paint herself as the person that you can have a drink with. So she would get herself on camera taking shots of alcohol with blue collar workers. And it's just like, all right, like you're just trying to virtue signal, like that you can show with white men, basically, that the same kind of thing, same kind of trope that was going around about, oh, I'd rather vote for George W. Bush because I'd rather have a drink with him. So yeah, she was very much positioning herself in this white man's world. And I think that's, I mean, we could go on criticizing her, but then to an extent, I feel like if we criticize her too much culturally, it is sexist in a way.
It's so hard to like pull apart, like where does it, I have someone that I like secondhand know on Facebook is always kind of pointing out that people are like, I would definitely vote for a woman, but not that woman. And it was like, I would definitely vote for a woman, but not Hillary Clinton. I'd vote for Elizabeth Warren. And then she runs. And it's like, well, like, why, like, this isn't her time. Like, Biden's going to have like a female vice president, but not that one. And it kind of is like, which woman would you vote for?
Yeah, I'll say this. This is probably like going to be controversial. But I would love to have a drink with Hillary Clinton. Like, just seeing her personality as it is in media and what a chameleon she is. She kind of makes herself to be anything you want her to be. I find her just as a person super fascinating. At the same time, I find so many of her political views outrageous. The fact that she's not willing to, get on the ball with Medicare for all, or just say single payer or universal health. I mean, she'll say universal health care, but then have it be totally left to like corporations and shit. But then I find her international politics outrageous, in some instances worse than Donald Trump and some Republicans. So it's like this duopoly. I almost think she's kind of like a cool person, but then I step back. I'm like, whoa, her views on this shit are important. Not just her views, but the way that she plays politics and the way that she kind of views climbing up the political ladder. I just the way that she undercuts people. It's I don't know. I don't I don't like any of it at all. Sorry, I forget how we got all the way to Hillary Clinton. But
it was because my mom was mad that she made fun of housewives.
Right. And you know what's funny about that clip too? Hillary Clinton, her voice, she like takes on an affect, like no matter where she is. So like I remember that clip, she was like speaking with her Arkansas accent and stuff, and then like in other clips she's like, you know, she puts on her Midwest accent. She'll make herself out to be anything that she thinks you want to hear from her. And I don't know, I think that maybe that screwed her in the end politically, but
Yeah.
they still have so much power, the Clintons.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're very much behind Bernie Sanders not getting the nomination,
Yeah.
and Barack Obama to an extent. But yeah, friends, thanks for tuning in to another clip of Johnny's Jabs. If you liked what you just saw, please be sure to share this with your family and friends and comment below. And if you want to get more content like this, it's easy. Just click the bell below to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Johnny DeBoer.